Hey, welcome everyone. What is up? Welcome back to the recap of the Walking Dead universe. Today we are covering Dead City. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps at any time, available on most major podcast platforms. Get new and past episodes for free in the app of your choice, including YouTube. For those of you joining us live tonight, thanks for taking time out of your evening to be here. I'm your host, Tamara, and I love a good TV show and a good book. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at The Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me is show co host Lisa. Welcome back, Lisa.
Hey Tamara, hey everyone, my name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I am also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture. So if you would like to connect with me online, you can pretty much find me everywhere at Lisa Orban Author or at Indies United Pub.
All right, so before we get started, we'd like to remind you that we would love your participation in this conversation. So if you're listening live, hit us up in the chat section. If you are catching this on a replay, you can still leave a comment or you can call us by using the voicemail link in the show notes. So we want to hear from you and possibly include your comments in upcoming episodes. So don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening. If you are new to the podcast, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely, Tamara. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Yes, no scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around a lot. And of course, huge spoiler alert for everything in the universe through yesterday's episode. So if you're cool with that, this is the place for you. And let's just jump right on in. The finale. What did you think?
You know, I rather enjoyed it.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
I was telling you earlier, so I was curious about something, so I went back, and before I watched the final episode, I went back and watched the the show finale for The Walking Dead,
Mm-hmm.
and partly because I kind of wanted to see the I wanted a refresher for Maggie and Negan's relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I gotta tell you, she was a little more cool about things at the end of The Walking Dead than she was in in this show.
So she's yeah, I kind and I don't remember it exactly, but I do remember her kind of just being like, "Okay, we're just gonna go our ways," and kind of that's it.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, I can't forgive you, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't forget, but we can both move on.
Mm-hmm.
Is basically was a sentiment,
Yeah.
and Negan was like, I can accept that,
Mm-hmm.
and so they didn't. I mean, they didn't part as friends or anything, but it had seemed at the end of that the Walking Dead that they had at least buried the immediate hatchet, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and so Maggie's hostility in this was honestly worse in this show than it was at the end of The Walking Dead.
Which, I think maybe it kind of comes out in the finale. She kind of has been stewing about it,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So for years and years after that, she's still disgruntled and she's still angry and she still never got her revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's still I get it. I mean, I'm not mad at the character for that, but like we said last week and the week before, this character needs some growth, and I think they set us up for that in season 2.
Yeah. Um, one of the things that Maggie did say that really kind of stuck with me from The Walking Dead, though, is I can't look at you because when I look at you, all I can see is the Lucille coming down on his face,
Mhm.
and she says, I don't want to remember him like that.
Mhm.
And if she says, if I'm around you, I can't move on, and I need to move on. So
Yes.
at that point, and I'm going to go with that's about 2-ish, maybe 3-ish years before this show.
Mhm.
Um, she was saying, I recognize that I have this issue, and I need to move on from it, and you can't be in my life.
And she still didn't do that. She
And she
wasn't
still
able to
didn't do
do
it.
it. Yeah.
And so yeah, I think I really do believe that I wish they had done something slightly different with Maggie
Mhm.
for this show. Um, but that being said, I really did actually like this finale. I thought it was actually pretty good. Um,
I kind of agree. So when I first watched it, my immediate reaction was not bad, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I see what they're doing, and I'm not really mad about it. I wasn't like, this is one of the best finales. I wasn't like, it was shit. I was like, okay, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's necessarily good or bad. I'm just waiting to see what's going to be next now
Yeah.
that we know that there's a season 2.
Yeah. Now I will say I liked the so we get the whole setup. Meg. At first Negan's like, okay, everything's fine, and the more they talk, he's like, you're seeing him give her the side eye more and more, and then by the time they reach that mall type area, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
and it's game on with the fight. And you would think that by this time Maggie could have held it together just long enough to get him to the Croatian.
So this is the one big thing that I didn't quite understand, and it did not jive with the story we were being served. She knew to save her son, she had to hand him over.
Yep.
So what in that moment triggered her bad enough to attempt to try to kill him?
Guilt.
That is dumb as hell.
I mean, I'm
That's
really
dumb
gonna.
to me.
I know, but I'm gonna go with guilt. Um, she's known this entire time that she was gonna hand Negan over, whether he wanted him for whatever the Croatian wanted him for. She didn't
Mhm.
care. She was gonna hand this man over. And the thing of it is Negan even pretty much told her, I get it. This is part of the plan. I'm all for it. We're gonna get your son back.
Mhm.
So he understands that he is the sacrifice here. And she's still.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it does not then any I mean, even guilt, even if she felt bad, for him. I can't She went through hell and high water to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine she would just throw it all away because she felt didn't want them to have him or whatever. I
No,
don't know.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just she is a fraying piece of rope. I think there's some guilt that she's known this entire time she was going to hand him over. I think there's even more guilt knowing that he's pretty much telling her at this point, I know what the deal is and I'm okay with it. If he had fought her a little bit more or had been less understanding, or it was the fact that he has acknowledged through this entire time, I'm the bait. I get it.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
especially when he started questioning Maggie, like, why do you think, oh, what's the little girl name again? I
Jenny.
forgot. Jenny, come here. Why do you think, he asked her questions and she gave him these lame ass lies.
Yeah.
And
And,
he already identified that she tells lame ass lies.
mm-hmm. And
So,
she could have even just said, she missed you.
yeah.
She's, imprinted on you like a baby duckling. She could have said that, and Negan went, yeah, okay, yeah, that's pretty much true.
Yeah,
But
but
no, she
that
had to go with a lame lie.
yeah,
You know.
which triggered him to figure out the truth. He
Mm-hmm.
knew and he told her. He's like, "Okay, I know what this is." And he pretty much told her the exact thing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It was a good fight, though.
It was a good fight, but I just think it was not necessary.
Yeah. Well, and there at the end when he says to her, I have tried apologizing to you. I've tried to explain myself. I have tried, I have done the peace offering, and obviously none of that is going to make you forgive me, and you shouldn't.
And he's right. And the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that's going to make her want to move past it is herself, right? Nothing he says is going to make that happen. It's going to be 100% coming from her. It's going to be an internal thing.
Right. And I did like that moment though, where he says, "And you shouldn't,"
Yeah.
you know.
He knows. He knows. Like when he told Jenny, to make her go away, he
Mm-hmm.
caves and says, "Hey, I killed your daddy. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not who you think. You should leave."
Yeah.
um, I know he was doing, I mean, that's the truth, but I do know he was also doing that to just try to get her away,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Um,
I mean, he didn't. She wasn't just an obligation, um, but at the same time, he desperately wanted her to be somewhere, anywhere else but there.
mhm.
Um, because he knew he was going to be giving himself up to the Croatian. He couldn't keep her safe if he was um, if this was the deal. And there was no guarantee if it came down to it. If Maggie had to choose between Jenny and uh,
Herschel?
yeah, I don't know why all I could think of was Harold. I'm like, that is so wrong. Herschel, she's going to choose Herschel, and he knows that she's going to choose Herschel. He didn't want to leave her out there hanging, so to speak. And he wanted to break that, and he broke the bond with her the only way he knew how, by telling her the truth. I killed your dad.
Yeah. And I think at that point in time, though, I don't think he honestly knew it was supposed to be a trade. I think he just thought that this was such a situation that I may not come out of it alive.
Right.
Like, I think he thought he was honestly going to die during this whole thing.
Right.
And then to find out it's a trade, he was like, fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because he still wanted to do it because of Herschel. He even says to him when he passes him, he's like, good to see you, kid.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
she had the knife up to his neck, and
yeah,
she's just staring at Herschel, you know.
yeah,
And he takes her hand and gently pushes the knife away and just walks down. I mean, there was no fighting him for this. Um,
no.
this was, this is part of his penance, I think he thinks.
Yeah, I think he's trying to do the right thing, right? He stumbled a lot. He's done some bad stuff. I mean, hell, he even like sent his own family off, right? Um, and never, they didn't even know what was happening. He just kind of ghosted them,
Right.
basically. So I feel like he has a lot to make up and he knows it. So yeah, he's gonna make the trade. He knows Jenny's safe
Mm-hmm.
and he now wants Herschel safe. And now because of that, which is like this show played it really well because the whole question becomes, well, what is the Dama gonna do to make him follow through, right? What is she gonna do to make him want to participate? And she delivered that
Oh,
using
yeah.
Herschel again.
Yeah, because she knows. After
Yeah.
talking to Herschel, she knows that he has this soft spot for him.
Yep.
And I did kind of enjoy the scene when the Croatian comes in. Oh, look what I found! He's all excited.
Oh my God. I'm like, this guy is such an idiot. I'm like, he thinks it's going to be this great reveal and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be camaraderie. And I mean, honestly, the one line he says is like, mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
I cringed so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is wrong with this guy?
Well, and you can see that that's exactly how he looks at both of them.
Yeah.
It's mommy dearest, but don't get me wrong. But he really thought that the three of them were going to be this little happy family, and he was going to torture the people for them, and everyone was going to be pleased.
I mean, he even tells Negan, hey, that one time I did try to, come for that girl. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it. I won't do anything like that again. He's apologizing and shit.
Yeah. Oh, I understand, because when I didn't obey your orders, I became the threat, and I should have
Yes.
been eliminated. I understand why you did, but I want you to know that I will never do that again.
Yes.
And
So
Negan's going
between
to use that.
right. So this guy, he totally seems like such a weakling. And I felt it the other episode when that woman came out of the room and just calls him a little bitch, basically. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh no, he is not big and bad as he wants us to think he is.
In his little domain, he is. He's the big bad in his domain, but he is not the big bad.
No, he is not even close. And then how she dismisses him again, he
Mm-hmm.
tries to do the introduction and she's like, okay, thanks, get out. We've
Yep.
got things. Let the grown-ups talk.
Yeah, she shooed him out of there
Yeah, she
like
did.
like an annoying fly.
She sure did. And he was like, "Oh, okay." He leaves. Like
And
what a joke.
and you can see Negan is not. He's being very non-committal. He's just absorbed and agreeing. Yeah, that was good times. Yeah, sure.
He is being
Yeah.
like that, but he don't like think for a minute. He's not clocking everything that's happening.
Oh
He is
yeah.
like, "Oh, look at how he's being treated. Look how he's responding. Look at
Mm-hmm.
this woman. Who does she think she is?"
Well, he's also trying to test to see how far he can push it. I told you, I'm a gin man.
Yeah, I'm like, he's not gonna drink it, but he did drink it in the end. But
Yeah. When he saw that toe.
mm-hmm. Which
Um.
is another way of him saying, "Fine, I concede, I guess."
Right. And she's like, don't, don't drink it all. And
Oh,
he
he
does
downed it
anyway.
already. It's gone.
Yeah. We have a lot of plans to make. And so yeah, she's her plan at this point is to venture out, into the five boroughs
Mm-hmm.
and get them all under her rule. And then I think world domination is on her mind.
Yeah, she definitely wants all of the people following and doing all the things. And we didn't really have a good idea of how many people are out there, that they need to bring under their, I guess, reign or whatever. But we know,
Mm-hmm.
like the little tribes people, it was only about a dozen of them.
Right.
So they were small potatoes. But when she starts talking about the different, like you said, boroughs, like how many people are we talking about?
Right. Well, and how many little fiefdoms? And
Yeah.
and I know that part of it is they're going to be using the fuel as an enticement to come under their rule.
Yeah.
Lights, camera, action. Um, and she's talking about I need a front man. She knows it, and she's basically telling him, I am going to be the power behind all of this.
You're my puppet.
You are my puppet.
Yeah.
I need a showman,
Mm-hmm.
a ringleader, someone out there, doing the barking.
She's like, look, I know I don't come across well, so I need someone who does better than me. She
Mm-hmm.
is not people's cup of tea. That's why she even had the Croat walking around with his little gang of what do they call themselves? Boads or
Yeah.
whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
even, they're like, hey, you handle your little cronies, act like the boss, do your thing. It's fine. They don't need to know that I'm in charge of everything.
Right. And she was telling Negan, when she heard about his exploits, over the top. I need over the top.
Yeah.
Someone and someone who can pull off over the top.
Yes.
Because not everyone can.
Right. Yeah, and she knows he can do it. I mean, she
Right.
even references, "Hey, yeah, I heard about your little fiasco at the church. Was it a church?" She's like, "Oh, that was a big show
Mm-hmm.
you put on. Yeah, I believe you can do this. And if you can't, well, you're about to do, you're going to."
Yeah. Well, and she's like, maybe you're not the man you used to be. Maybe you are. But you better find him one way or another. Because if you don't,
This is what's going to happen.
yeah, she's going to take. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to me that she went after Henry, um, but never thought to go after his wife and child.
Um Henry. Who?
Not Herschel. That she went after Herschel. Sorry, I'm just doing H names tonight.
Oh,
Sorry, whatever.
I'm like, "Wait, did I miss something?
No,
What's
that she went
happening?"
after Herschel, but she didn't go after Negan's wife or child.
Probably cuz they were too far. Maybe she didn't know how far where they were.
It could even be that she the relationship that Negan has with Herschel is the one that's talked about.
Well, yeah, she knew about that she knew about it, and then Herschel has reinforced through
Mhm.
story, right?
Yeah.
That relationship. And
Mhm.
again, if his wife and child are gone, the United States of America is big. They don't know
Yeah.
where she went. So that makes sense to grab
Yeah.
some kid that he has a fondness for.
I guess it's good for Maggie that he didn't hop on that wagon train to go to the Missouri.
Yeah, because she would have never found him. She would
Nope.
have never found him.
Never would have.
Oh my gosh. But I did kind of gather from all of this that it did kind of reinforce my earlier suspicion. So when um the what do you call that? What's his name again? What do they call him? What's his name?
The
Like
Croat.
Croat. There we go. When the Croat initially saw Negan,
Mhm.
he did not know that Maggie brought him. He had assumed that he had just happened to be there because of the sheriff guy or
Mhm.
deputy,
The
whatever.
Marshal.
The marshal. I went through every name except Marshall. Um, and then he was like, "Oh, when he's here, oh my god, oh, here's Maggie. Oh, it's like it kind of clicked that it kind of reinforced that he really didn't know it was her at first. He
Mhm.
really didn't. He even said to her, "I didn't think you'd be able to do it."
Mhm.
So I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." So I feel happy that that little connection happened. I'm like, "Okay, that makes sense to me." I like when things make sense, so I was
Yeah.
down for that.
Well, we should also probably talk a little bit about the Marshal because Marshal makes good. He takes Jenny back, and he actually takes her to the bricks as a because he could have just taken her with him,
He did, but he took him back. Well, he said he would take her where there, and he did.
and he
He
did.
seems like an honest person, but something about okay, so his group, what do they call themselves? I know you know.
I did until you said I knew.
But the way he talked about being a
Babylon,
marshal,
Babylon.
Babylon, there we go. When the way he talked about, rules and like really things being black and white, and even how he kept trying to arrest Negan, like, yeah, he changed his mind in the end, but I just felt like how vigilant he was acting for him to go to a place that seemed like he was being threatened the minute he walked in the door was very counter to what I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean it's what is it? It's better to be feared than loved,
I
and
guess.
well, and it's a, I mean it's a very, it's religion grounded, and we could see that in the first episode. You know, no drinking, no prostitutes, no bad illicit behavior. Um, and he threw that woman into a ground that woman's face into the fence and let her be eaten by walkers.
Mhm.
So it's not like he's a kinder, gentler person. Um,
No, but it just seems like he was in his power, right? I'll just use that phrase. He didn't
hmm
seem like anyone was bending his arm to get this job done. It seemed like he believed what he was saying.
and and I think he did at the beginning. I think part of what we're seeing right now is he by the second to last episode, he was basically questioning: is everything black and white?
Mhm.
Is everything just good or bad? Is there no in between? And Babylon is very much a black and white kind of place. It's right or it's wrong. It's good or it's bad. Black or white. There is no shades of gray in his world, in this place. And he was okay in his place when he first started out because it was everything to him was black or white, good or bad, yes, right or wrong. And he didn't, that's part of the reason why he allowed that woman to be bitten was because even though she told him what he wanted, she was still a bad person. She had done bad things.
Right.
So he was meriting justice as he saw it. But by the end of this episode, or by the end of the series, he'd been out of his comfort zone for so long and exposed to people that did not adhere to his particular brand of insanity. Um, he started to question it, and you can see, he's seeing that questioning when he drops Jenny off, and he's watching this. reunion to this girl that really hadn't been a part of the community for very long.
Yeah.
And then he stops again, before he goes on to Babylon, where
He's
the
looking
three
at
men
the
are hanging.
hanging. Yeah. And I get that. I get his change of heart. But what I'm saying is, when he walks back through the gates of Babylon, he's not saying, "Hey, this place is bullshit." He's not saying anything. He's telling a
Right,
story. What
right.
motivation does that woman, the leader of Babylon, have to treat him like he's lying, to threaten his family? Like, why do you do that to someone that has been loyal? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's like you it seems like he comes from something that he really believes in, and he seems
Mm-hmm.
like he's doing what he wants to do, not being told what to do.
Yeah.
And then we see him in this situation where it's like, well, maybe that wasn't the case after all.
Well, I think it's just part of their, just the way they, people that are used to using threats to get their way use them without thought. And I think she's just, she's comfortable issuing threats as needed.
He
Um,
just got back. Like, he just told a story.
mm-hmm.
Like, how do you even know you need to use a threat yet? You don't even know.
No, but I don't think it was that. I think really was just their entire power base is based on threats, intimidation, you know, obedience,
Mm-hmm.
um, subjugation, and I think part of it too is she just wanted to remind him now that he was back home what his place is
Oh, yeah. So I'm
in
kind
the
of wondering.
hierarchy, out there in the wilds, because he clearly said, as a marshal, I was clearly within my rights to merit out justice.
Mm-hmm.
So he's pushing his authority, and she's reminding him, out there, sure, but in here, you are not the big bad. I am. and
Yeah.
and that's kind of how I took that scene. I don't think it was personal. I think that's just how she was kind of like, oh, what's her name from the Commonwealth, the governor,
Right.
because she did the same thing. She didn't have to use threats.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little more subtle about it. But she ruled through threats and intimidation, and this woman there in Babylon does the same thing.
I'm curious to see what it looks like next season with the Babylon storyline, because I guess they did enough work to have us care about this character. I think they did enough to
Mm-hmm.
make, me personally be like, okay, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with him. But how much of the story will it be? We're going to be flipping back and forth. Now it's going to be two antagonistic groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get what was it called, methanol or whatever,
Yeah.
trying to
Methanol. Yeah.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting. But I was pretty impressed. I'm like, after it was all said and done, I said, wow, they have two women leading these groups.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a nice change from like the when we first thought it was the Croat, right? Like, ugh,
Mm-hmm.
gross. Like, these women are not the best either, but I like that there are women leading these groups. All of
Actually,
them.
I mean, technically, if you really want to be truthful, it's three.
Yeah,
Maggie,
including Maggie, yeah.
and I
Although
think
we
and
don't
Maggie's
really
gonna
know if
have.
she's the leader of that. We don't know that.
I think so, because she's the one that because she's the one that moved him, and
Yeah, I mean, you could assume it, but I just feel like I don't know that.
yeah. Um, and I think there's gonna be, because her and Herschel's interaction. I mean, you could see that this is a kid that has been kidnapped
Mhm.
and everything else. You would think that he would be want out of there, and he walked very slowly out of that place.
Oh, this little brat. Let me tell you what really pissed me off about Herschel. So the whole exit was like the worst. He is acting like he wants to say something. He looking mean and rowdy. He gets in the car, mean and rowdy. Okay, I understand you want to express your feelings, but he's acting really disrespectful, and like he really doesn't appreciate even being rescued. He acts like it would have been better to just stay there.
Hey, you and I talked about this.
Did
That he
I'm
would not be I mean, and you know he knows that Negan has been traded for him, and and there is a lot of unresolved stuff going on between him and his mom that involve Negan and Glenn and everything, and him saying, I'm so tired of you looking past me and behind me, always waiting for that next bad thing to happen, that you never see me.
Yeah, which is what we said, and I validate that. I
Yeah,
validate what he's saying. My problem is, don't act like you'd rather be a prisoner than be with your mother.
I don't know.
And then we
Kids can
find
be
out that his
hateful.
toe was cut off. You fucking kidding me? You'd rather be somewhere where your toe was cut off than with your own your family, your people, even if you're mad at them.
Well, I don't think it's his people. I mean, I think he's just mad. I mean, I really do believe he's just mad at his mom. He's been mad at her for a really long time.
He grew up there. His friends are there.
Right. I
His
don't think
people.
I don't think it's that he doesn't want to be around his friends or isn't happy to be back in that community, but him and his mom's relationship, him and Maggie, it's very contentious. And and she does actually come later say, "You're right.
Yeah,
I need to work on this. I need to do better." And she does need to do better.
she
And
does.
we've talked about that as well. That's one of the big things. She needs to acknowledge her son as an individual, not an extension of Glenn.
So
You
you think
know,
it's cool how he acted?
I'm I'm not cool with it, but I do understand it. And as someone who has raised teenagers, um, honestly, all things being equal, he was pretty mild. you know?
I mean, I feel like I would have been like, Bumpy, go back there, kid. I don't give a fuck. Go. Since you don't care, that's where you want to be. Go. But see, I guess I'm mean because
Well,
I
and
can
he never
imagine
said that he wanted to.
if I was someone's prisoner, even though I hate my freaking parent right now, I would rather be with the parent I hate than a prisoner.
Yeah. Well, and I Maggie's, every this whole time with Maggie, him and Maggie together, it's all been for her. It's all been about fear.
Hmm.
Everything that she has pushed him to do has always been fear based, fear motivated.
Yes.
And she went, and he got to this place where while these people were, um, sorry, I was just reading Karina's comments. As I have a teen, nope, he could have died, and I was still acting like a jerk.
Hmm.
Um, but um, he was in this place that while it was insane, and they did some bad things to him. At the same time, there was confidence, security. Nobody was looking over their shoulder. No one was worried about the next attack. No one was,
But he's so dumb. It was a front. It was
I know
all
it's a
a
front.
front.
I
Like
know it's a front, and
I'm
he's a
gonna be nice
kid.
to you because I want information from you.
I know,
He's
and you
stupid.
know that, and but he's a kid, and he has been attention starved, and this there was again, I was his reaction good? No, it wasn't. But considering the very contentious relationship, the hostility of their relationship prior to him being kidnapped, it's not surprising. Matter of fact, you and I even said that this is probably going to be his reaction, and if given a choice, he probably would have gone with Negan.
Yeah. He probably would have if that was a choice, but it
Yeah,
wasn't. But I don't know that even that's extreme because even if he knows and understands that man killed his father,
yeah,
just like Jenny. Jenny knows and understands, but she may come back around trying to hang out with him again, trying to be around to be his
she
little
might.
sidekick. She might. She might. I guess kids forgive in a way that adults can't.
Well, it's Negan has at least been honest with him, whereas Maggie has not necessarily been honest with him.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that she has not shared her feelings with him like when she did in that last episode in that, last scene, she was sharing her true feelings on the matter and how she got to where she was essentially. But just because a lot of parents don't feel like they need to tell their kids all their innermost feelings and stuff.
Well,
That doesn't
yeah,
make it right, but it's not a lie.
yeah. I mean, and I get that, but I mean, I'm so glad to have you back. Glad? How about happy? How about
She don't know how to express herself. She
I
is like
know.
one of those parents that don't know. You know how some parents give awkward hugs? Some
Mm-hmm.
parents, don't know how to give a compliment. I think that's just her personality.
It is, but your child has been kidnapped, gone through hell, and she is glad. You
Yeah,
know,
for
and
her,
even
that's good.
he's like, "Oh, you're glad? Oh, is that it?"
Relieved. I don't know what. I don't know if she could have said anything that would have given him satisfaction. She could have said, "I love you so much. I'm so glad you're back," and he'd have been like, "Stop lying to me."
Well, if
That's
she
just
said
how I
it as a
feel about
lie,
him.
he would have was said that, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, I mean, and she is. She's a very awkward as a person, as a parent. She is just incredibly awkward.
She is. She is.
She has a very hard time articulating herself, and whereas Negan, he can articulate anything. And even if it's a bullshit lie, he's good at it, and he'll make you believe.
I
Um,
know. I'd rather have someone that is bad at emotions but honest than someone who can make me believe something and it's a straight up lie.
mhm. But I would just say to highlight the differences between the two of them.
Yeah.
These are very polar opposite people here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, Karina says she's Sarah Connor. I've seen that comparison online.
Yeah. But that doesn't but look, truthfully, that does not mean that Sarah Connor did not love John, right?
Right.
Just like this. I do believe that Maggie isn't cold-hearted. She just doesn't know how to express herself. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the end of this episode, when he kind of told her how he felt, really pushed her to share that. And I think he was right to do that, but did he have to be such an asshole about it? This the situation as it was, she would have listened to him. It's not like she was ignoring him.
Yeah.
He
But
could have just told her.
yeah, but I mean, if you think about their long history, I mean that's pretty much how he has been acting towards her in every flashback we've seen of the two of them together.
Yeah.
So he really wasn't acting out of character. Um, and even if she has changed, he hasn't been with her journey of change.
Right.
So he just kind of hopped back into where they were when they left things.
Mhm.
Um,
And he
and
was
again, there's a lot of
spewing and
hostility
getting
there.
mad and everything else while he's talking to Dama about his life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, I don't know. I just cannot stand kids that act like that. I can't take it. Like, you are free to share your feelings, but don't act like I didn't risk my life to save you for nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure they will grow his character and he'll be like really nice and we'll really root for him like we do for all the other kids, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure it's going to turn eventually. But that kind of action makes me not have any it doesn't make me like the kid.
Yeah. I mean, he's an angry kid, and he was an angry
Yes.
kid before he was kidnapped. This
Yeah.
this didn't happen because he was kidnapped. This was, you know, they've had a very hostile, contentious relationship, which for what looked like quite a while now.
Mhm.
Um, Now Maggie's admitting that maybe I was wrong, and I need to work on, communication among other things. I mean that's a good first step,
Yeah,
and
it
admitting that
is.
that she does need to stop looking past his shoulder and start looking at him.
So
And
what do you think that means for the future when she says to Herschel, I'm going to try to do what I need to do to get past this? What do you think that means to her? Do you think that means I'm going to run off and try to help Negan get him, or does that mean something else?
while watching it, my first thought was I'm gonna run off and try to save Negan,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily where I think she's heading. At least not initially.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think she's going to run back and try to save him immediately. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm at this point. I really don't know. I know Negan's going to step up and be the big bad again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know that he is real thrilled with that idea. Um, and I can. And Negan is charismatic, which means he could at some point actually get these people behind him and push the Dama out.
Oh, he definitely could. It's just going to take some time.
It's going to take some time.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's, and then we've also got, Babylon that has decided, hey, we want what they got.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have noticed that there's no thought here. Maybe we could trade with them. That is not the thought.
No, it's instantly conquer and steal, right?
Yeah.
Like take.
And take. And yet the
so
thing
far into the apocalypse, we're still doing this.
Yeah. And that's and it and the sad thing is okay, fine, they could try and take, but if they don't get the people that know how to make it, once it's gone, it's gone. Or if they kill everybody, they don't know how to make more.
Right.
So it's kind of it's
because
not a good
that's
plan.
A science. It's not a thing that you can just say, oh, we're going to take these seeds and just grow them.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there is a process. It's grisly, but there is a process.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to guess that there's not a lot of them that do know. There's going to be a few because they have a lot of it. But it's not like it's not like the general population knows how to make this stuff.
No.
And I'm sure, the individual workers know their part of the process because, it's a big operation. But then again, it's kind of like, someone putting computer parts in a computer, they know their part to put that little transistor, that, that little diode or whatever there. They don't know how to design the whole computer. That's not their job. Theirs is to put the little button there,
Right. Exactly.
And so, the whole, we're just going to go in and take what they have. Okay. Except if you don't know how to refine it, if you don't know how to make it, and you kill the people that do, once it's gone, it's gone.
Right. Exactly. So I'm like, this doesn't even really make that much sense either. I don't know. I'm trying to keep an open mind about it, and kind of just go with the flow, I guess, for what we've gotten. But again, when you really start thinking about it too much, it's kind of like you see the cracks. But
yeah. Well, and there is a greed, and even in our own times, we can see that particular short-sightedness. Quarterly profits versus long term. You see corporations even now doing stupid, dumb, dangerous things to boost the immediate bottom line, but in the long term can cause a lot of damage and hurt them, hurt other people, or do all sorts of bad things.
Right.
So it's not that these people are necessarily stupid; they're just incredibly short-sighted.
Right.
Because they've picked a goal and they're not looking beyond it. And I think that's pretty much what's going on with Babylon. They picked a goal and they're not going, and they're not thinking beyond, we want to make tobacco and we need a good source of energy and this is it. We're going to go get what we want.
I wonder what what Babylon's energy situation is now, right?
Yeah.
Because she's talking about these fancy cigars, what it takes to make these cigars, the heat. She's like, okay, so obviously they have it now, right? They must be running out, but how quickly? What are they using for their energy now?
Well, you don't technically need electricity to make tobacco. God, they were making rolling tobacco way before electricity was invented.
I know, but in her analogy, she says these need to be dried at 100 degrees exactly.
Yeah, it's just it's more labor intensive.
Yes,
and
that's hard to do without any power.
Right. So it's not impossible because again, humans have been making tobacco for a long time.
Right.
without electricity. It's just, but it is a process and it takes time and it takes expertise. Whereas if you have electricity and you have it automated, then the machines do it for you, which takes that human expertise and care and you know carefulness. You don't have to really worry about it so much.
Right.
So you can mass produce stuff easier. That's pretty much what electricity does. It allows us to mass produce a lot of things easy.
Well, I know she's not literally speaking verbatim about making cigars, right? But
It was the analogy.
yes. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Well, and I do find it kind of interesting that so when they showed um, the bricks, everything was being lit up by candles,
Yeah.
and but in the last episode of The Walking Dead, in the Commonwealth, they seem to have, and over at Alexandria and stuff, they seem to have power and lights and all of that stuff.
They did. I mean, honestly, it could just be the luck of the draw of where you sit on the grid. Is
Yeah.
the grid okay or bad where your place is, you know?
Well, but I mean, part of their electricity from like Alexandria, I mean, part of it comes from the solar panels that used to be there, but a lot of them were destroyed. It's coming from like the windmills and the other stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
But the Commonwealth, I don't remember seeing any solar situations in the Commonwealth.
I'm not sure where their power was coming from. I know they had it. No, they did have a power plant that they were keeping. I think it was coal fired.
Hmm.
So they had a power plant. Who knows what the bricks have? I mean, but they could always, I mean, I don't I don't know. I
I
mean,
mean,
they could
because that
have.
doesn't mean that they don't have anything. They could be just, I've heard of places like, countries with limited resources. They
Hmm.
just shut stuff down sometimes. They have
Yeah.
brownouts and stuff on purpose
Yeah.
to
So I don't
manage the
know. I
grid.
mean,
So maybe it's a that kind of situation.
maybe. It's hard to say. That they only have a limited amount of power,
Mm-hmm.
or they basically only have. I mean, they could have certain things that they only have power when there's wind because they're using wind generators. So I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't
I
know.
guess next season we'll probably. I think next season they're going to show us a little bit more of these different communities.
Yeah, because now we have, well, I would like to see more of all three, right?
Mm-hmm.
All three. Definitely, I want to see more of Babylon. To me, that's more interesting even than what the Damas got going on. Although I think that just seeing Negan step back into that role will be interesting to see because, obviously all the fan girls and boys
Mm-hmm.
love seeing Negan put that show on.
Yes, the big bad.
Yeah, so we'll probably get plenty of that.
Yes. I wonder if they're going to give him another bat.
Another one? I mean, we have two now. So we have the Dama. We still have.
No, no,
Oh,
no. I was just, because Negan's whole shtick, while he was, you know, king of shit mountain or turd mountain over there, was Lucille.
oh, they're not going to get him a bat again. He won't want a bat. I
I'm well. I'm
can't
just
see him
one.
picking it up.
I'm just. I don't know that he. I don't think he would pick it up, but I could see the Croatian thinking giddily, "I got you another bat."
Oh my gosh.
Can you
I,
see it
I
as a peace offering?
Speaking of that bat, can I just say how ridiculous that when he was talking about how Negan taught him how to swing a bat,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, is there any right way to swing a bat at someone's head? No. You just don't do it. And he's like, well, I almost hit too hard and yeah, I'm surprised he didn't die. And then he's like, oh, that was just cringe. More
Oh, I
cringe.
know. And in Negan's just. Here's the thing. Negan's just watching him.
He's
I
not
mean,
amused.
stone
He
faced.
is not amused at all.
He is not. His sins are coming back, and he's
He's like,
not.
why did I do that dumb shit? Look at this crazy man.
Yeah, look what I did. I
Yeah.
did, and I mean, part of it is that acknowledgement that he created this.
Yeah.
You know, I was so broken when I came to you, and I didn't know anything, and I'd never killed anyone before, but I found my place. You made me the man that I am.
Oh my gosh.
Great. You know,
Uh, I mean, if he does bring him a bat, I hope he hits him upside the head with it
I do
because
too.
like just brain him with it and then throw it out because I do not think now see that's the thing there's a balance right like I said the fans really like him in that role but I don't think anyone wants to see him slide back exactly how he was before
Right.
so I don't think that he would choose a bat as his his like mascot of choice right
Right.
his thing
His
I don't think
go-to.
yeah I
But
don't
like I
think he would
said,
choose
I
that.
can see, I could just see the Croatian just trotting up to him, just, you know, giddy as a puppy. Look what I found. Look what I got for you.
Oh my god.
You can see it, right?
Maybe he will get killed because of it. I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind it either.
I do not like that character. He is the worst. He is so cruddy. And it's like now knowing that he was, even just seeing how lowly he is, it's like, ugh, it just makes him even more gross.
Yeah. You
I
know,
don't
he
know.
he wants so badly to be respected. And he has that. He had that respect in his little fiefdom there.
He wants pats on the head.
Yeah. But anywhere outside of that, he ain't got nothing.
No. It's so weird. Uh, what else? Is there anything else we should cover about the episode?
No, I mean overall, I was pleased with it. I'm looking forward to the next season. Honestly, I thought. I mean, overall, I really think they did a decent job.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, to be honest.
Yeah.
Overall, it was watchable, and I do think I was happy with 6 episodes. I don't think it needed 10 or 16. I was okay with 6, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well, and a lot of that was is because it made the episodes really tight. They couldn't have a lot of drag. They couldn't just have a filler episode.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they had in there had to count,
Right.
and I like that.
Yeah, I liked it too. I like when a story doesn't meander too hard.
Yeah.
Like let's keep to the keep the plot tight, and I like that they did do that. They did that successfully. Although, I have to say with the tribal people, yeah, that was like an interesting little ad. But when it comes down to it, did anybody really care about Tommaso and Amaya? I mean, did anyone care about any of them? Will we see any more tribes people again, or is that just dead now?
I think that they brought them out as a setup for next season,
Mm-hmm.
for the next, what kind of groups they're going to be encountering, and
Mm-hmm.
even to show the difference. That there are these small pockets of people that are trying to do, trying to care for each other, trying to do the right thing, trying to form communities, um, and basically um, the bigger groups like the Croatians are basically destroying them so that they can be the rulers. Either you're with us or you're against us, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think they were just kind of there as a counterpoint
Yeah.
to the big bad.
Yeah,
To
it
the
was kind of a throwaway then. A little bit. It's fine.
hmm
We'll meet more people. We'll meet more groups.
yeah.
So yeah, okay. It was so overall success. It was a success.
hmm
Good job. So now I guess we can talk about the next thing on our agenda, which is the Daryl Dixon show,
Yes.
and that comes out September 10th. I think it is.
Yeah, it comes out in 47 days.
Yes. So did you watch the 10 minutes that was available on AMC Plus?
Yes, I did. I watched
Did
it
you
twice,
like it?
actually.
You did?
I did. Well, it's 10 minutes. Come on.
So did
You
you
know.
did like it then? Because I know when I watched it, I was feeling it. I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. Let's see where this goes. And I
hmm
was really shocked when it was over. I'm like, oh wow, that was 10 minutes already. I hit pause. I'm like, was that it? I'm like, oh, it's over already. Oh,
That's it. I
yes,
want more. Give me more.
yeah. I did want to see more.
Yeah. I mean, so, he's on the boat, and either he's tied himself to the boat or someone tied him to the boat.
Hmm.
because he was tied to it, and there was so we have a new variant of walkers to deal with now.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what is it doing to him? I'm like, wait a minute. It looked really different.
Yeah, well, in the blood apparently,
Hmm.
because whenever when he dropped that first one and when it hit the ground, the floor started to sizzle.
Yes. I'm like, is it disintegrating? I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, and then when he touched him, it burnt the crap out of him. And now I'm wondering, because we had that scene where his arm's getting burned by the nuns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if it's some kind of infection or something that they're trying to fix his arm from where he was hurt by the walkers.
Oh, maybe.
I'm beginning to wonder.
Because I wonder, I'm like, is he infected? Like, what happened? Like,
Yeah,
like, what does that mean? Is it just a burn or is it something more?
yeah. And why do they burn? I mean, like acid.
Here they go, throwing more stuff at the wall, but we never see the original stuff they threw at the wall. So I guess we'll see if those come into play anywhere. The other variant
Well, I mean,
situations.
it's really possible that, I mean, a variant can be a variant. Kind of like there's different variants of the COVID, strain of illness. There could be different strains of, the zombie virus, um, and we know that it's been evolving. So in pockets and places, so in some places we might get ones that can, pick up rocks and seem a little more with it.
Mm-hmm.
And where he's at, apparently they have acid ones. We know that from the end of um, World Beyond, the super fast walkers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that, I mean, a virus mutates. That's what they do.
Yeah, it does.
So these are their variants, and we're going to get different variances depending on where people are at.
That makes sense. Yeah, okay. You gave him an answer. You helped the show out. You gave him an answer.
Look at me go. I'm helpful that way.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. But I think I feel slightly more interested now.
After
I
my explanation or after the
after the
preview?
10 minutes, after the
Okay.
10-minute preview, because you know, I've said this before and I still believe it, unfortunately. I just don't think that Daryl Dixon's character can carry a show as like without an ensemble, so and I saw some other photos of the other cast. So clearly they're
Hmm.
trying to make this ensemble show again. And of course, now that we see that Carol's character is back, and then seeing this little start to the episode, it all made me feel much better about it.
Uh-huh. Me too.
Yeah.
Because it's not just going to be him carrying the show on his own. They're going to
Hmm.
give him um compatriots.
He doesn't talk enough.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I'm glad. So I'm feeling more enthusiastic about it, and we have a nice little break, and then we'll jump right into it. And
Hmm.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna see what this is about. See how long before he starts speaking in French.
Well, he's lucky that he's running into a lot of people that speak English.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of like when he picked up that recorder, and he's
Yeah.
listening to the father talk about they're looking for a safe port.
Yeah.
Um, why didn't they just go to an island somewhere? Anyway,
I don't
um,
know.
because I gotta tell
I
you,
mean, cause so he's in the south of France is where he landed.
yeah, he's in the south of France, and
So Paris is a ways from that.
but we do know I've seen from previews he does see the Eiffel Tower and stuff.
Yeah, so I wonder how long it's going to take him to get there. Does he meet people along the way? Like, how's that going to look?
Well, I think I don't know. I know he meets these nuns.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the little exchange when the one nun asked him, how did you get here? Bad decisions. How about you? Good ones. You know. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious to see what happens. I mean, and if there's if they give an explanation to what's going on with the zombies and the acid, blood and stuff, and yeah, he's looking a little out of sorts there when he sits down after he kills all those walkers. Like, oh my god.
I know. He's like, what the? But actually, I really hope he gives us a full explanation of what happened to him.
Yeah.
And it's really not this thing where I really don't, amnesia. I really, please don't make it amnesia, where he doesn't remember how he got on the little boat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when he gets off the boat, his vision's doing all sorts of funky things. So that could either be, it could be dehydration. It could be coming out of drugs.
Oh, it was definitely dehydration. He went and grabbed the closest thing that had liquid in it.
Yeah. But it also could be, drugs getting out of his system. And so it's hard to say. It could be a combination of the two. And, but I guess we're going to find out.
I know. We're going to find out. So we got that this weekend, which was cool. Mm-hmm. And we also got something else this weekend. We got the new title for the Rick and Michonne show, which is now called The Ones Who Live. Dun, dun, dun.
Which makes sense. Again, I went back and saw rewatched the final episode, and they said this line at least a dozen or more times.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last thing that Judith says before it fades to black is, she's talking to RJ and they're looking out onto the fields and everything there in Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
We're the ones who live.
Yeah.
And Morgan was known for saying it, I'm the one who lives.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't really a surprising title.
No, it's fitting.
It's fitting.
It's fitting. Honestly, I'm surprised it took them so long to reveal this title. I guess they were really trying to wait for Comic-Con, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But, because I'm like, I know they're not going to call it Rick and Michonne. I know they're not going to do that.
Well, and I'm kind of wondering if they've known what they were going to call it since the final episode, because again, they said it excessively. And I really
but that shows a lot of plotting and planning, and I just don't feel like this group of writers, this team, this whole production doesn't have that much forward thinking when it comes to their shows.
That could be, but I gotta tell you, everyone on the show was saying we're the ones who live. We're the ones who
they
live.
were, and that's how they said, "Oh, let's go back and grab that." Yeah, that was great.
Hey, that makes sense.
Yeah, let's use it.
Well, even Rick and Michonne both at the end of, when they were doing their little vignette there between the two of them going back and forth said, "We're the ones who live."
Mm-hmm.
So it really does make sense that this would be the title of it. And with as decent as Dead City was and that 10-minute little teaser we got for Daryl Dixon, I'm actually getting excited for this show.
Yeah, I think it is going to be good. I'm really excited for it as well. I'm still trying to keep my expectations in check. Same with the Daryl Dixon show. I don't want to and I think I did a good job with Dead City, keeping the expectations in check so I would be able to enjoy it more. Like lower the bar, and I hate to say that, but lower the bar, just so that your disappointment will be lessened, or you might not be disappointed at all.
Well, and I found out that both Rick and Michonne were executive directors on the Ones Who Live.
Hopefully that means it's going to be better because they have some
skin in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean they don't want their characters to look stupid.
No.
So yeah, that makes me hopeful too.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're like, no, you're not gonna have us out here. It's not gonna be bad. No, I'm hoping that's the truth. Because it's been a long time since I've seen Andrew Lincoln on screen.
Yeah, he said he's very excited.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they're done recording, so it's done. It is what it is.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but during interviews and stuff, he said he's very excited about it. So.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I like the title. Mm-hmm. I like the little promos they put out, with the red and stuff. I like it. It's a good look.
Yep.
All right. I think we're done. What do you think, Lisa?
I think we're done, dear.
All right. So it's been a great conversation. If you're still listening, thanks for listening to the whole episode. We appreciate you. And don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave. And please share the episode with fellow TWD watchers. And we'll see you again on September 11th, right? We'll
Yeah,
be back
sounds about
here.
right.
That does sound about right. So, and then until then, take care. Enjoy the rest of the summer. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.